And we are back. Couch Company Podcast. I'm John. With me as always, Tyler.
I'm Tyler.
You are Tyler.
Hi.
And I'm John.
I know. You always get to say that you're the person and then you tell me what I am. How you are, you can't, you know.
I'm like the deep state.
Yeah, telling me
telling
what
me
I
who
need.
you are.
Yeah,
And
sure.
anyways, we live in scary times.
Yeah, a little bit.
And that's why you're listening to us, to get away from it a little bit.
Yes.
Right?
To get all the super factual information.
Yeah, I think
never messed up once.
we're probably, like, how often do we say correct things? Like 30% of the time?
No, I think at least
than that?
32.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. I think it's bigger than that.
Yeah. So, anyways, we were talking before, but then we do this thing where we talk before,
Yeah.
and then we could have recorded the whole thing. So we stopped ourselves this time. We started recording.
Yes.
So I'll pick up on that conversation. So I'm getting really deep into watches.
Yeah.
Like today, I was
Timepieces.
yeah.
What's
Well,
the
watches.
Okay, but like, is
It's
that
like
what it's
not
called?
pocket watches, not like
But is it? That's what it's called. Just
watches.
Well, like, so in the keyboard world,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
People just call them boards. They're typically like, sometimes they'll say keyboards and, like, you know, just to help
Oh,
other
I
people.
see.
But it's like, oh, I got this board. Oh, I'm getting really deep into keybs.
Yeah.
Like weird kind of stuff. Like, do you have something?
No, I think it's generally watches. They will call them pieces sometimes. If you're high society,
Sure.
if you take the pipe out of your mouth and lower your monocle,
Yeah.
you can say that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's not as cool and hippy dippy as the keyboard world.
That's okay. That's fair. It's
Like-
a little bit more
Like
old
someone
money.
who's into keyboards, like keys, dude. Like
Yeah.
I just picture them have a beanie and
Yeah.
like glasses, but no lenses, just glass frames,
just hacky sacking it,
and then
Yeah.
just like the worst posture.
some avocado toast. Are you calling out my posture? That's one of my things I need to focus on is get better posture.
I was reading this article though that like bad posture, and this is the problem with our society is like I don't know what's true.
Oh yeah, sure.
So I was like reading this article like everyone who's like, oh, fix your posture, bad posture, it's like not real.
Okay.
It's and I'm gonna butcher the details of it, but essentially it's like people just have different postures. And that's like their natural curvature of your spine, and it's like this is a myth that like everyone's getting hunched.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't
Because
know.
like what people say is like, oh, you need to strengthen your back muscles so that you can like
Yeah.
sit with correct posture. I think correct posture, quote unquote, is just like, or at least what the article is saying is like just a mental thing. Like if you do it, you're just going to do it.
Well,
It's
yeah,
not
no,
like
exactly.
a limitation. It's not like your spine has been deformed because of.
Oh, I don't know, man. I think it could be. I think it at some point
You
it,
think-
it hurts. I have scoliosis, right? So my spine is curved.
Yeah. So you think that's caused directly by just sitting all day?
No, actually, scoliosis that I have was caused by my backpack. Just
Really?
the amount of homework I got at private school. I would put it all, and I would only put my backpack on my right shoulder. So my spine started curving to the
Ooh.
right. So whenever we finally got tested, like years in,
Brutal.
it's like, oh, you have scoliosis. You know, do you have to do that as a kid? Like, do you have to like bend down, touch your toes,
Yeah.
and they like look at your spine
Turn and
stuff?
cough.
No, they didn't do that at school.
Oh, really? They
Yeah.
do that in public school.
Do they? No. Oh my gosh! I was like,
Yeah,
no
I do.
way.
Now
Okay.
it's usually
Yeah,
reversed.
I know.
That's
I know.
usually
That's
reversed.
fine.
I got you. I'm on the board.
Yeah.
Tyler 69, John 2.
I see what you're saying though, where it's like, I think with the internet though, it's like people like to excuse just like quote unquote bad things so they feel better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you know, if eating makes you feel good, just eat whatever. Like, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't do this whole like you don't want to like shame anyone for anything, right? But for me, it's like, yeah, I love eating, but also like I'm like killing myself doing it.
Yeah.
So like I should stop doing it. Like, don't tell me it's okay to do something like that.
Yeah.
And it'd be the same thing with like your posture, where it's just like, okay, like, yeah, you're hunched. That's just how things are. But at the same time, like, I'm getting more and more back pain. I can't move my neck in the morning. I can't. And like, if you're 100, I think you're 100% right. It's more of like a mental thing. Because like, think about the people in the military who are like, you know, like always like perfectly,
right,
you know, postured and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's the same thing where it's like, okay, cool. Like, you know, it's a mental thing. And I feel that if you're taking care of yourself in that regard, so you're eating better, you have better posture, or you're doing XYZ, it becomes a habit, like you'll naturally just improve yourself, I guess.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't know. I get kind
it
of.
was from a sports scientist, so it's not like armchair guy.
Yeah, they don't know
it was
what
like writing this paper, but it was I don't know. I guess his point was like you should be in your natural position that's comfortable to you.
Yeah.
Right. So like I guess his
just
point
laying
would be
down all
like
the time.
if you're hunched in a position where over a long period of time you'd start to hurt, you're probably not in the correct position. You should be in a position that's natural. That feels natural to your body.
But they have like
stand.
weights and things like that you put on, or you put on like this brace that like
I know
forces posture, which is not comfortable.
I know that. I think that's kind of what he's saying.
So he's saying that's bad for you.
Well, there's degrees to this, right? Like if you have scoliosis, if you have a medical condition,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's like exceptions. I guess his point was like, because there's like people that will advocate for like, oh, you should do these exercises so that you can straighten out your back and stuff. It's like, I guess his point is like, no, you have a natural curve in your spine. Like everyone has different anatomy. Like some people were more hunched.
Okay.
I don't know. So it was interesting. I don't know. Again, I'm not saying that that's true. It's just I hear conflicting information all the time. Like especially around nutrition and exercise.
Yeah,
there's
every
just
year is
so
different.
much conflicting, not even different information, conflicting information. And that's what kills me.
Yeah.
Is like I can never get a straight answer. And I know it's complicated. Like every person obviously is going to have a different diet that's optimal for them. But
In different figures,
there has to be
not
some
everyone's gonna
universal guidelines here, right?
Like not everyone's gonna look like a supermodel, or like chiseled up like I don't know, Chris Hemsworth. Is that the probably most ripped guy that you?
Oh, most ripped guy that I know.
Just like chiseled guy.
I'd say
Anyway,
maybe
like, it's
Henry
not-
Cavill.
He's bulky. Yeah.
He's really ripped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not everybody,
Hugh Jackman.
like like it's not like everyone can even achieve that. Like they would look different.
Of course.
Yeah.
Everyone has everyone has different anatomy is honestly what it comes down to, different genetics.
Yeah.
But I do think what I will say is I think everyone does have strong points and weak points. Even the top 1% guys, even those ripped guys, even like Ryan Reynolds has strengths and weaknesses, right? Like he's got a six pack. He has amazing abs. His shoulders get destroyed by some other people, right? He doesn't have as big of a back as like The Rock. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
I'm just saying, like, I think it's important for people to realize that even if you don't feel like, oh, I could never achieve that. Like if you got to the peak physical condition that you could get, you would see that you do have some really great attributes
Yeah.
to your body. Because I think everyone does have those strengths.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that extends even past like physical strengths. I think it's anything, right? So like that's what makes people great. Some people like are really good at some things and terrible at others.
See, I went negative. You went positive. This is good.
That's the beauty of humanity, man.
Yeah.
Some people are like, not even some
think
people,
everyone's inherently evil.
all people have something to offer. And that goes back to your theory that you always talk about, where like somebody's the best at everything.
Yeah.
But I think everyone is like in a higher echelon of a specific category.
Like how so?
Well, whether it's, a specific intelligence or skill set or something. I think everyone has like, obviously everyone has strengths and weaknesses, but I think like if you were to take the average person and like whatever their top strength is as a human being, that's probably in a decently high percentile versus like the average population, like the whole population, right? Like the thing that they're best at is probably they're going to be better than average. I would say.
Well, that's a crazy thing is like, well, yes, I believe everyone's best at something. You're also ranked in every facet of every
Of course, but
thing.
But here's the thing though, that's why the median is so important. That's why the median's my favorite statistic because
right.
you can like if you go based off the mean, it can be pretty mean.
Yes.
You see what I did
I
there?
see what you did there. Yeah.
It can be pretty tough because there's always outliers that completely skew. So, for example, I was looking up net worth because I'm really insecure about my success in life. So
Okay.
I was looking at average net worth by age.
Based off of your age?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And so the mean versus the median of average net worth is unbelievably different. So someone my age who's like 27, and these numbers aren't going to be correct because I don't remember specifically, but the average net worth or the mean was somewhere in the 100,000s.
For 27?
Yes,
Wow.
exactly. And the median was like 35.
How does that work?
So the average is you're gonna add up everyone's total and then divide by
the
that many
population.
people, right?
Yeah.
There are some 27-year-olds who are millionaires,
Right.
and that is so proportionally higher because you got to think of it this way. Well, this is a good question for that study. Actually, do they count people who have negative net worths, like if you're in debt? I don't know if they're counting that. I would assume they would be. Right?
Is it net worth or is it just salary?
Net worth.
So how can you even possibly calculate that?
Well, net worth generally is calculated. Well, net worth literally is assets minus debt.
Right. So what 27-year-olds have no? Well, I guess that's where the 30,000.
That's what I'm saying is that because there are some really rich 27-year-olds,
Yeah.
it absolutely destroys the mean and makes you feel horrible about yourself. But the median, what the median is, it is the exact middle point of the data set. So even though you have 0 to a billion, whatever the middle number is, that is where the median is set. So it's kind of a more, in my opinion, when you're looking at something like a data set like that, where there's such skewed results on the extremes, it's a more accurate representation of like what the middle is.
So you're doing well.
I am. That wasn't the point of that though.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say,
Well, I'm saying you should feel better about yourself then. Right?
I just wanted to simply state that if you are taking when you're looking at, because you were talking about like the world, like everyone that's ranked, like people at something like ping pong players or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you look at the mean, it might be a tough truth to look at because like there are professionals that are amazing, but if you look at the median, I think everyone, their top skill set is going to be higher than that median.
So the question
that would
is
be.
then, do you think just
I might have lost the entire audience.
do you
spiel,
think,
but
if
I hope it
if
makes
you were
sense
honest
to someone.
with yourself, do you like secretly think that you are just on average better at more things than like
No.
like if there's like if you're looking at the median, right? And like you have that middle line.
Yeah.
And there's everything in the world.
Yeah.
Do you think that you're above that line for most things? It could be something as simple as like speed at making a grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah. That would be pretty bad.
I love
actually.
that. Like I just said, speed of making, and you knew exactly where I was going.
Exactly.
I'm hungry. Yeah.
151 episodes. I actually think that's an interesting thought experiment where my prevailing theory might be something like this, where if you add up everything that makes you a human, do you think that most people are actually pretty comparable to each other? Because think about it this way. Take like a really rich person and they're very successful, they're very hardworking, maybe they're hyper intelligent, but maybe their social skills are terrible. Maybe they're not compassionate. Maybe they don't have like, empathy, or maybe they're not good at tying their shoes because their butler does it all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like,
it's tough.
so there's
It's
a
like
lot
the
of
rabbit
these
goes through
skills
the loop.
because like you got to think about it this way, right? Like, so let's think about a person who we think is successful in terms of societal sense.
Okay.
Like everyone only has a certain amount of bandwidth, certain amount of time, certain amount of energy that they can devote to certain things. So they're most likely sacrificing a lot of other things that we deem unimportant, quote unquote,
Yeah.
to ensure that they can inflate the successful categories, whether
Right.
that's making money or whatever. Well, usually making money, but
Yeah.
through whatever
that's
means,
the thing,
right?
Right. Yeah.
Through whatever means, right? So you would have to think that they might be sacrificing like other skills, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably.
Like, how good are they at like cleaning a toilet? Like, probably pretty bad.
Probably.
Probably horrible. Like, they probably have never done that.
Yeah, like,
So
do they even know what cleaning supplies go in the toilet?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about that. It's kind of like the Steve Jobs thing where he wears the same thing so he doesn't have to think about it.
That's literally in my bullet journal book. Yeah.
Which we're going to get to after this. Great segue.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, okay, so if we consider that, does that mean that they might be closer to average if we encompass them as a human being overall?
Yeah.
Like even the minute, like little bullshit things that you're talking about, like making a sandwich, speed.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking, there's an infinite array of things that make us human, like abilities.
Yeah.
Like
if
how
Steve
good I am.
Jobs was like, okay, I'm going to make a sandwich.
Yeah.
Like he's nowhere near going to make a better sandwich than like some gourmet chef.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. He probably, I mean, we could just extrapolate that to like cooking, like how good of a cook is he? And maybe he was a really good cook, but I'm just saying like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like how good is Steve Jobs at standing up out of a chair?
So your hypothesis then is just everyone is on the same level.
Not at the same level, but maybe closer than we think.
So
I don't know.
So a better question then is who would rise above that?
Because there would be people. There would be people.
But like who? Like I think that's a great point because it's like, okay, like you're thinking like Elon Musk and Bezos and I don't know, Bill Gates and
someone like
all these
all of those people you
and
just
stuff.
mentioned are really bad at just chilling.
Social or dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
They can't turn their brains off. They can't interact.
Right.
Sure.
Like they would probably be really bad at, I don't know, just doing what
Lots
we
of
do.
stuff. Yeah.
Which
Sure.
is wasting time. They're probably really bad at wasting time.
Yes. Yeah.
They are really bad at wasting time.
Sure.
So it's like, I'm really good at wasting time.
Yeah.
I might be a top 1%er
I
at
don't know
wasting
about
time.
that, man. I feel like you
I watched a lot of watch videos today.
Wait, what?
I watched a lot of videos about wristwatches.
Oh, watch.
today.
I got you. Yeah. That's okay.
If a woodchuck
you're
situation.
learning, yeah, but you're learning.
I am learning,
You're learning stuff.
but that's a waste of time, probably. Which is ironic because it's
about
This whole
time.
thing.
Yeah, and I can accurately calculate exactly how much time you're wasting, which is nice.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
pretty
that.
good.
Yeah. So, I don't know. This whole segment probably doesn't make sense, but I think there's something there because, like, my thought has always been there's truth.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Okay. We don't like that.
the universe, there's like a truth about it, right? So
Presumably. Yeah.
there's a lot of things we can't measure, but like something as ridiculous as standing up out of a chair, right? Someone is the best in the world, mathematically, physically, at standing up out of a chair.
What would
It's not
make
even
them the
speed.
best?
It's like, okay, when you move your body,
Yeah.
there is a certain amount of wear on your joints, etc.
And there's
Someone
person,
someone is using their body in the most efficient method, down to the microscopic level.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that would have to be true.
That's accurate.
Because everything's ranked.
Yeah.
Even to the fucking smallest degree. Someone is the best at standing up. It's like,
Yeah.
but we'll never know who that is.
Do you think it has to be something that you provide either a mental or physical effort in?
Yes.
So that's the
It has to be some kind of you have to put something into the world, right?
like you can't say like, oh, this person just is like
Like
the best
someone
hair
has
or
the best best hair.
Well, like let's say
I think
somebody's
you could probably-
cuticles are so perfect.
Yeah. You could probably
have the
say
best
that.
cuticles.
You could probably say that.
counts. Stuff that
I
they
think
have
so.
no
I think so.
They have no bearing in.
Like I think
Like,
you
it
could
doesn't
say
count.
someone's the most beautiful person.
Yeah,
Like,
but
that's
but
really
based
tough
off of
right
what
now.
metric?
I know,
Yeah.
but that's impossible.
You could say the
as far
most
as we know.
symmetrical person. You could say something along
Yeah.
those lines.
Like, well, you think about it this way, right? Like, so artificial intelligence, how is that going to define beauty?
Oh my gosh.
But there is some sort of mathematical, maybe not mathematical or scientific component to it, right? Like if you take the best pieces of art ever created, there's symmetry, right? There's proportionality, there's color, there's tone.
Yeah.
Like there are things that are there are overlapping themes that make these. That's why like my doodle is not as good as Picasso's works, right?
To some extent, but then there are people, they're the outliers saying like, oh, it's better. You know what I mean?
I think definitively you can't say that. Like, there might be some people, I think that's margin of error.
Probably. Oh, I
think
agree
that's
with
margin
you.
of error.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
the Mona Lisa is better than anything I'll ever create.
But the Mona Lisa also doesn't, like, I don't think she is considered like a traditionally attractive.
That's fair.
Human,
I'm just talking
like
about beauty is in whatever. Like, beauty is in art or beauty is in person,
right, but
or
that's
whatever.
That's very different. So it's like the only way to judge that, I guess, would be like if you just polled the world.
Yeah.
And it would be like, okay, like what is the
that's where I struggle with this idea of like, is there a definitive truth in the universe
for something like subjective like that? That's tough to.
That's what I'm saying. Like, does subjectivity actually exist when you strip down the fabric of reality?
I think when you're talking about stuff that is measurable, so like objectively, like, all right, I'm working in a pizza shop and I'm putting boxes together, and I could put more boxes together than literally anyone else in the entire planet.
Right.
You are the best at that.
Like
that's,
you
that's
use
an
the time
objective
component
thing. Yeah, like
to
there's
measure
clear metrics to do that.
Yeah.
When you get into the art side of things or beauty or just
I
that
understand.
sort of thing,
As of right now, our understanding of the cosmos, it doesn't exist.
Unless you go to the golden ratio.
But is there...
There's a human out there
that's what I'm saying.
That's closest to the golden ratio.
We do see these things in nature.
Yeah.
Like the... what's the number sequence?
The number sequence?
Yeah, Fibonacci sequence.
Oh.
Right?
Sure.
Like we see that in nature a lot. Sure.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is like it would be based off of something like that that's just...
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just weird to me. Like, I don't know. Like, I always go back to Einstein, who's like, always his goal was to create a formula that could solve for the universe.
Yeah. Didn't work out for him.
He didn't get there. He did make great strides.
Sure. Yeah.
But
A for effort.
Is it possible to do that?
I don't think so.
Me neither.
Yeah. I think,
although I've just been saying that I think that there's like a truth, but yeah, maybe there's things that are like unexplained.
I think there are some things that are truth, and there's
is that where religion comes in?
Oh man, we're going there.
Well, think about it. It's like, okay, we can define some things. We can define numbers. We can, we can measure some things. We can measure speed. We can measure height.
Yeah, we're creating all of that though. That's not like a given thing.
It is.
It's a way to explain.
Yes, it's a way to explain something that's tangible, though.
Yeah, but it's not tangible. I think is the argument, right? So, like for instance, if you have something where, and not to get super into,
but we're making it tangible.
We're making it tangible because we're interacting with it, or we're looking at it, or we're doing something.
Time isn't something you can hold, but it's something that can be observed and measured.
Yeah, but if time is also completely relative, then
it's not completely relative.
It can be though. That's what people were saying, right? So it's just like it's relative based off of like where you are versus where somebody else is and the perception of it. So,
but it exists and it has an effect.
It can. I am not.
Well, it has to. It's some degree. Even relativity. I'm outside my depths here, but
me too. But what I'm saying is like even numbers and even things where it's like, okay, I have this cup and I have this mug.
Yeah.
Does that mean I have two? And then like things that I'm not comprehending and like I'm looking at you, so I'm not looking at the mug. So like, is the mug even there? Type of thing. And you start getting into weird, multi-dimensional things.
I see.
So I'm just saying, like from certain points of view, and if you want to be very realistic about it, then yeah, sure, like numbers and time and different things like that. If you want to start breaching outside of our very limited human mind, then that stuff starts breaking down pretty quickly, or it's all theoretical, or all kind of like, what is truth type of thing.
I guess, yeah, you can keep asking that question.
Like the only truth is there's chaos, right? So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The more you deconstruct it, the less I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like at some point you have to have faith in something.
Well, right. But then that's the opposite of like
exactly. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there isn't a truth to everything.
To everything? No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
There's not a truth to everything. So some things are just
I think we're going in the opposite direction.
Of what?
of that, just as a human
Really?
race. Yeah, I think.
I don't think so at all.
Oh, I think so.
You don't think
Without
AI
getting-
will be able to discern truth more than
No, because we don't like it.
It takes
it's
the-
truth is whatever the mass believes you want to.
yeah, but it takes that emotional element, or theoretically, it should take that emotional element out of it.
AI is only trained based off of
That's
what
true. That's the flaw.
think. And,
Yeah.
and when we don't have a solidified truth or a kind of a specific measuring stick of stuff, it's like it can be anything. Like that's the way that I think society is moving, is basically like, you do you, like whatever you believe is fine. That's your truth. And right or wrong, it's like that'll influence everyone and everything. That's the social media, that's AI, that's whatever. But it's like,
yeah, but I might push back on that, because don't you find that there's like a group mentality though, even with social media, like
100%.
trends catch on and
Yeah,
people
absolutely.
influence each other.
Absolutely.
So it kind of has the opposite effect. Like you're saying, like you do you, but I think with the rise of technology, it's actually, oh no, I'm copying you more.
Right. But absolutely. But what I'm saying is because everything is so fluid, there's not like this foundational truth of whatever. Because I mean, if you take it back to food, it's like, okay, like egg yolks are bad. Watch out for your cholesterol, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Then it's like, hey, keto, eat 12 eggs a day and just all fat is good fat and blah, 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 blah. And like, so it's just like there are these trends, or there are these kind of group perceptions where like, caffeine's going to kill you and that's terrible and you're getting terrible sleep and whatever. That's going to cause you cancer and everything else.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, actually caffeine is really, really great and it helps you do the exercise. Like, I'm making those up, but like,
No, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, to the health perspective of this,
yeah.
there is a truth somewhere that if you eat, like for Tyler DeFazio, if he ate specific things,
Yeah.
did specific things, he would
KFC
maximize.
mashed potato bowls.
Nope.
That's got to
Probably
be it.
not.
No, that's got to be it.
Probably not.
I
Give it a shot.
look, man, that's my truth.
Okay, that's your
It's
truth.
just-
I'm just saying there is. Okay, so we talked about like an infinite amount of
Yes.
universes.
Yes.
There is one of those possibilities, one of those realities where you eat the exact optimal food intake,
Yeah.
liquid intake, you get the right amount of sleep, you do all the right things to maximize your life expectancy or your
Sure.
health outcome,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
So that's theoretically real, right? Like that has to be a possibility. Like there is something down to your atoms,
Uh-huh.
right? A combination of lifestyle choices that you make that is quote unquote optimal.
But you're talking about specifically me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it's like, yes,
Well, yeah, every
that's
person
true.
will have that, and
Well,
it'll
that-
look different.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
That's not the problem.
As
That doesn't mean
as
it's
a
not real.
Sure, but as a species, we are so codependent on everything. Like we need other people.
Sure.
So
I'm
I
not
think
saying-
that's the, like when you're talking about like a universal truth or something, I think that's the thing that people need to get behind, and we don't have that. I mean,
Like-
that's to your point. That's where religion pops
I guess
up. That's
I guess
where
what
certain
I'm
things pop
asking
up.
is there a point in time where we have such a fundamental understanding of the human body, for example, where they can take your blood type or see your DNA and be like, here is your optimal diet.
what
Here
is
is
the,
your optimal.
So yeah, but like what's the margin of error? So if it's like what is acceptable? If you say, hey, this is your optimum diet, if you follow this, you live to be 100. And then it's like if you do this, you live to be like 99 or 98
Yeah.
or 97. Right?
Yeah.
So like
Well, maybe it can list out all the.
yeah, maybe. I think
Well,
for
what
stuff
you
like
would do
that,
is
it's-
like if you could input this into the system,
yeah.
you would say, okay, here are the parameters. I would like to like you would have filters, right? I want to live X amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to feel a certain way. Like I want to feel good. I don't want to have big complications. However, I would like to do these activities or eat these things or have this amount of like a fun parameter.
Oh man. So
And then it
now you're
calculates-
talking. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
there's infinite amount of variables, right? Like
right.
I don't know if we'll ever get there. Probably not. Definitely not in our lifetime. But one would think, like, to the, and this is what I'm talking about when the like universal truths. Like that theoretically exists. I don't know if we'll ever discover that, but you would have to imagine that there is a most effective outcome in almost any situation.
Yeah. Okay. I'll agree with you on that.
So it's just, I don't know. I mean,
I don't think we ever get that. I mean, that would be.
Yeah, I don't think we do either. Because there's an infinite amount of
to be like, okay, hey, I really want to go to this party and drink and smoke.
Yeah.
And then you like raise
how many
that
years off
lever
my
up, and then you just watch your just
you
years
have
tick
your
down.
smartwatch on.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, I'm going to the party to drink and smoke.
Yep.
Here's how many I expect to have,
It's
and
like
it says, here's
just
your
lost
life
a
expectancy.
month of your life. Enjoy.
Or a percentage of like you just like your cancer percentage just ticked up 1% or whatever. Yeah,
dude, that would
eliminate drinking. That would eliminate smoking.
That would probably help a lot of people. Yeah. The question though would be like, at what threshold do people are like, wow.
Well, that would be a very interesting social, right?
Yeah, it would.
I
help
think eventually
eliminate.
you become numb to it. It'd be like 1%. It's like a gambler, right?
Yeah, maybe. Or at some point, it's like, well, I'm at 70%.
Anyway,
and
yeah,
then it's
the
just- then
loss,
you
the
just-
sunk cost fallacy.
like
Yeah.
fly down a cliff.
Wow.
Oh, we got dark. Okay. Yeah.
You got dark.
No. I'm just saying, like, there's a give and take there.
Yeah.
I think though, like from a societal standpoint, like, do we ever get to our entire planet is just one big city, all unified as we are human and we are going with a purpose to do X, Y, Z? Not in our lifetime, our kids' lifetime.
No,
like it's
of course
going to
not.
take forever.
If we replace ourselves enough with technology, like if we're
Yeah,
like
maybe.
cyborgs walking around, probably we might be on the same neural network. And
Yeah.
because think about it, like if that's kind of like a hive mind at that point.
Yeah.
You have such empathy for your fellow man. Of course, it would be a complete utopia, right?
But
because
it's-
everyone is you, essentially, more or less.
But but that's, you would have to have a universal truth.
Yeah, you would. That would be like if you're like part machine, everyone's linked up to the same network, and it's controlling part of your essence, like part of your thought. You would probably get there, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
If as long as we retain our humanity and our
Yeah, but
unique
that is
nature.
Human is, like, you're not going to be unique.
yes,
you either
no.
have it.
So my
everyone-
answer is, if we're human, no,
right,
that we'll never get
right.
there.
But if
ever.
we're half lizard, maybe.
No, lizards don't even. They're more divided than us.
You think?
Lizards?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Extremely territorial.
All right.
Yeah, look at the lizard population. Look at the research.
Let's look at it. Let's bring
Look
that
at the
up.
research.
All right,
Look at the
research
papers.
department. Yeah.
I would assume name one lizard city.
One lizard city?
Yeah. Exactly.
Gekopolis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have one.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They're still in tribes. They're still in
They're just living underground. They're waiting.
we have nations built.
They're letting us do all the groundwork, and then they swoop in or crawl in or
Yeah.
pop in and slither in. I don't know.
Nah.
Scamper. What do lizards do?
Lizards
Scurry in?
Scurry.
They scurry in. And
Yeah,
take
don't they
over
do
our
the
nations.
the waddle on
Yeah.
force?
Yeah.
Lizards are kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't fear the lizard people. I do fear aliens,
More than lizard people?
of course.
What if
And-
the aliens were lizard people?
Well, then I would fear them.
Yeah. Okay.
Because, dude, if they're coming from external, that means they have like access to technology that we don't know about. If the lizard people are under the earth, then what do they have access to? Nothing.
They got Earth. They got Earth power.
There's nothing.
I don't know.
Just a bunch of magma down there and tectonic plates and water.
Those are two
I
things.
do fear the deep water. That is a scary ass place. There are things
that's where
down
the
there. we have
kaiju
no-
live. Also, the kaiju are just big lizards. Yeah.
I don't think it's true. Anyways,
Yeah.
that was a wild conversation.
You mentioned briefly about like Steve Jobs wearing the same stuff and eliminating decisions,
Yeah.
and that's kind of where I'm at in my
Yeah.
bullet journal book, where I had to list out stuff that I'm like currently working on, stuff that I should be working on, and stuff
Yeah.
that I want to be working on.
Yeah.
So that was a fun exercise. But I'm
Do you
gonna
find
try
it
to-
difficult to like really put yourself in that position where you have to answer those questions? Like, are those questions difficult for you?
The weird thing with journals, and this is why I don't typically keep them, is it's two things. One, either I'm writing to like myself, right? And then I always restart journals because I want them to look pretty and be like not very journal-like, which is bad.
Yeah.
Or you're writing assuming somebody else is going to read them, in which case you're not really like you're second guessing everything you want to write down. Or you're like, if you have like this like intrusive thought, right?
Yeah.
That you're like, this is just kind of like in my weird dark mind, but you're not going to write that down because you're like, oh, what if, your wife comes and looks at it and be like, oh my gosh, she's,
You're modulating your thoughts.
Burn his, house down or something.
Interesting.
Like,
yeah. No, that's really interesting. Yeah.
I shouldn't even say that because now I'm probably jinxed it. No, my freaking house is going to go up.
No,
but
you can't, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
Your house is a water type, so it's
that's
like
true.
it's
Yeah, so it only does that. Oh my
fire.
gosh, dude! I keep having dreams like just
really
dark, dude. I had a dream that the ceiling fell in on Penny's room again.
Oh my gosh!
And I was just like, I woke up just
again,
like just panic. Yeah. Well, no, like the ceiling fell. That was what happened.
Oh,
where the pipe
I
burst.
see.
It fell once,
the water.
But this time she was in there, and I'm just like, oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, dude. That's awful. That's tough.
That is what it is. But you know what I mean? Like, it's like if you're writing something, it's like, okay, it's either for you, and then in my mind, it's like, well, I'm living it. I don't need to like write it on paper. It's just for me, which is a flawed way of thinking, but that's how I think.
Yep.
Or you're writing it for someone else to read, in which case you're massaging it, maybe softening some corners, or you're writing as if you're writing a book to someone else, which I also think is a little disingenuous.
No, I think that makes perfect sense. Let me ask you this. Do you think that the transfer from thought to paper, do you lose something in that transfer?
I think some of the stuff that you're feeling, you can't actually put down, right? Like, or it'll take like, it's like you can't, like I can't articulate how I feel in certain situations. Or if you're trying to, like in this case, it's like, okay, like the stuff that I'm working on, I think the idea is like do it for a long enough time, you can start seeing patterns and things. And like, again, it's a new process, so we'll try it. But I think writing stuff down is like, okay, like what do you have to do? And it's like, I need to make a budget. I need to, I don't know, like get closer with friends and family. I need to do like all this stuff. And like, none of that's like bad per se. It's just writing it down is very much like me making lists and making posters and creating like top 100 games.
Yeah.
Instead of playing games.
No, but I think it's a good activity though. Like, I mean, the reason I love doing what we do, like talking about top fives, making lists, is that it really solidifies and makes you verbalize your beliefs, like your convictions.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know. It's hard for me to describe. I think there's something to that, right? That I keep saying right, even though I complained about it last time. Look. I know. Even though, how do I want to phrase this? Even though obviously you know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
The fact that you're putting it down on paper or you're saying it to somebody else. Or in our case, I love the fact that we record what we're saying. Because it's like you're putting something, like you're taking a risk.
Yeah.
And you're putting it out there. Yeah. And that's kind of what the journal is too, to a lesser extent.
It is, but the journal, like, I think the thing is, I don't want the journal to be this thing where I just say, oh, I should be doing all of these things without doing it. And I think that's part of it is, like, you're supposed to put down everything that you're, like, trying to do or trying to accomplish and stuff like that. But then you're trying also, like, you have to take inventory of those things and whittle it down to, like, okay, here are the 5 things that you're focusing on. And the idea is taking away some of that, like, decision making and being like, hey, you're going to crochet a narwhal today, like, or you're at least going to start it, and you have to spend 3 hours doing it or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, okay, like, it's in some ways like giving up control. And you're plotting out, like, or at least the way that I'm kind of doing is like you're plotting out every hour of your day, which seems really constrained and seems really like kind of jailed in, but taking the decision away of you sitting in front of your computer and being like, oh man, what do I play? And then you just kind of like doom scroll on YouTube or something, saying like, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to play Link's Awakening for 2 hours, and that's what I have allotted. Or I'm going to read this book for 2 hours. Or I'm going to crochet or do whatever.
Yeah.
Just in the kind of chaos and with like just the way social media is and the world is and different things like that, and you're just like inundated with all these like, okay, like you have 1,000 games you can play. Why would you want to play this one, or something like that? Like it's pre-planning and then just letting you focus on those things and like putting your phone down and being like, okay, like from 9 to midnight, not on my phone. I didn't put that on because I don't think I could do that yet. But like, you know what I mean? Like just like setting these guidelines for yourself and just trying to stick to them, or being like, oh, hey, it's noon. Got to drink your water. And it seems stupid. And it seems really kind of like, how about you just be an adult and do this stuff? But we always push things off. We always get sidetracked. We always focus on something else or do other things. And then like that's why things become so imbalanced. So it's just trying to harness some of this stuff. It could be a load of crap. I don't know, but it's worth trying it if it, helps kind of tame some of the chaos, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, so what's your goal? Like, what would the ideal result be from this?
I mean, really, the ideal result, like, how often, even just with us, it's like, oh man, there's no time, there's no, like, even again with having a kid, it's just like I always feel that like my days are just gone, right? But even if I'm holding my kid, right, that doesn't mean that I literally can't do anything. I can factor that into whatever I'm doing. So if it's like, okay, I know I'm holding Penny for the next 3 hours, cool, throw on an audiobook or throw on a book and just like read and figure that stuff out. Or better yet, play with like, like factor that time in of like, okay, if she's going to sleep for 2 of those, but then she's going to be wide awake on one of them, cool. Factor in like, I'm going to give all my focus and attention to my daughter for 1 hour to do tummy time or to do whatever, like that kind of thing. But it's like, it's planning for that kind of stuff. So to answer your question, like what, like what I hope to get out of it is like, okay, instead of just sitting in front of my computer and being like, I don't know what I'm going to play, I guess I'll just play some dumb thing that like has no like bearing or whatever. It's like, I want my goals to feed into each other. So for instance, I want to play like those retro games and try those. So if I'm playing like old RPGs, like your Final Fantasies or, Zeldas and things like that, I want to take that. I want to see how those games were, like Chrono Trigger and stuff, but then incorporate that into start taking notes on the whiteboard. I mean, how many times do we talk about RPG ideas and stuff? Actually start putting them on the board, actually start like filling that stuff. And then like maybe just start making a game or whatever. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but it's like we talked about it forever, but then it becomes this huge, huge project. So instead, is it like, oh, hey, today we're just going to like talk about this one thing, or, oh, I just really want to like build out this idea as much as I possibly can. And it's just allotting time to do one small task, but you're accomplishing something. And then you just keep building on those tasks. And then eventually you get something. It might not be like, you might not end up with like a fully polished game or even finish Zelda or do whatever, but you're planning it out where you're not just sitting there doing nothing or being kind of like a waste of space. Like you're getting something for it. Like I want to develop in some way. If it's knowledge, if it's forcing myself to review something, if it's like I say forcing just because like since COVID, my default state is like turtle up in my house and not talk to anybody and do anything or whatever and just kind of like just exist, which is unhealthy. So it's like it's retraining myself, I guess.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I don't know if I'm making. Yeah,
no,
I
that
don't know
makes
if I'm
sense
making
to me.
sense,
Yeah,
but
no, I think a lot of people struggle with that, myself included.
even me saying that, like, that's no guarantee that I'm gonna like after we get done recording, like,
But you're trying.
I
That's
want
the
to
first
try.
step.
Yeah.
You're trying things. I mean, it's better than not trying. If you didn't try, you know what that result is already, right? Like you've done that.
I mean, I was up till 4 a.m. working on a user interface for
That's awesome.
my Game Boy. Like, it might be awesome. I don't know. Like, I enjoyed doing it, and it was teaching me things. I was learning things. I was learning how things worked.
I
like
think.
coding
I mean,
stuff.
part of it is like, obviously, I think we can agree on there's some universal things that are not valuable. Like scrolling on TikTok is not very valuable most of the time.
Yeah, everything in moderation, right? Like,
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're actively doing something, and then you're getting enjoyment out of like. If you wanted to completely optimize your life, you'd probably be like reading something or But it's not always about that, you know. Part of being a human is about doing things that you enjoy and like relaxing.
Yeah.
Like my fear with this, and you probably won't even have this problem, but if you try to course correct what you feel is wrong in the extreme opposite direction, it's going to throw you off of it.
Yeah.
Like every second of every day needs to be planned. I need to be hyper optimized. I need to be doing things that are valuable. And it's like, yeah, we can all improve in those aspects. But if you go too extreme, are you going to turn yourself off from it and then you end up in the square one again?
I guess my counter to that is like, because I was thinking about that, right? It's like, okay, well, if I dictate what I'm going to do, oh, it's 3:00, I guess I got to stop what I'm working on and do this instead.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm going to that extreme, but the thing is, like, what is the alternative? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I lose my weekends because it's literally like I'm just sitting on a couch holding my daughter or doing whatever.
My issue is
I could be doing things or helping her.
Yeah.
I don't know.
My issue is it's not managing the time as in I need to calculate every second of the day, but it's just starting things.
100%. Yeah.
A lot of times I wake up and I say I want to accomplish these things, but I have this fear of starting for some reason. I don't know why that is. It's always really difficult for me, even to like play a game sometimes. It feels like a commitment maybe, and I fear the process of starting it. Even though once I start it, and this has happened throughout my entire life, where a vast majority of the time when I start the activity or do something new, I end up enjoying it. And it was a good use of my time.
Yeah.
But it's that act of just doing it.
I could take any game on my computer and hit launch. And if I launch it, I will enjoy playing it and I'll play it. But it's that initial hit play button type of thing.
Or it's like going out. Like sometimes I'm like, oh man, I should go out. I should go out with my friends. I should go to the bar or whatever. And then I just end up just staying home. Because you got to do, it's kind of like, I don't know, like an object is at rest is harder to move.
Okay.
Than if it's in motion. You know what I mean? You have no momentum.
Yeah.
So a static object is going to be more difficult. Like you need more, what would you say, exertion to move it.
But I mean, that's something like something as dumb as like, hey, in the morning you put on pants. Right? And it's like
I don't wear pants a lot of the time.
Me either,
man.
dude.
Yeah.
Like when you're working from home, like you're in your comfy like sweat shorts or whatever, and like your top half's good, but like everything underneath is like okay, like but like if you wore clothes or you did your hair or you did like if you were presentable where like at any moment's notice you could go outside, like that opens up a world of possibilities versus like you roll out of bed, you don't upkeep yourself, and it's just like, well, I'm not going to see anyone today, so like whatever. But it limits you because even if you were like, oh, I should go out and do X, Y, Z, but then in the back of your mind, it's like, yeah, but then you got to get a shower, you got to do this and this and this and this. So it's like, it's just dumb stuff that like, there are just a lot of bad habits that like you need to break and form new ones. And a lot of the time it's, if you do one, it kind of comes with the other. But I don't know. It's like, I'm not trying to do everything all at once. Like, I think this is going to be like a pretty long journey, but I don't know. It's one of those like I got to do something, and even again something as dumb as like just designing a UI interface for something. Like it's like right now it's all I can think about. It's all I'm like oh, what if I do that? If I make this a little bit bigger, I can fit XYZ in and stuff. And there's a beauty and an art to it, and I like that. But I tend to get focused too much on like the anticipation of stuff or like the problem solving, and I don't follow through with it. So I feel like that's another issue where it's like if I see a solution, even if I don't like solve it like physically. So for instance, if it's like, oh, if I do this would work. But then I'll like just stop because it's like, okay, I solved it, move on to something else. And I got to like be better at that. And then like, we always talk about like the game and stuff like that. But like, I want to like just put stuff down and mess around with it. And I started getting really into like coding stuff and things. And, it's interesting right now. But I don't know. We'll see. It's easy to talk about. It's a lot harder to actually do stuff. So.
Welcome to life.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm trying to like organize this freaking room.
No,
'Cause,
dude,
I was like the other day.
This
I was
room
just
looks
like,
a lot better. I think
I got all the boxes out.
the first step is doing something, right?
Yeah.
Starting or acknowledging that you want to make a change.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have a problem or anything, but wanting to improve yourself.
Yeah.
Everyone can improve themselves.
Yeah.
So that's great. I wish you success.
I mean, that's all Abby. Abby was like, "Hey, I'm doing this. You want to do it?" I'm like, "Done. Let's do it."
What, the bullet journal?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Midlife crisis or?
It's getting there. Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
It does seem like you're
I mean,
searching
like
for
last
something.
week, yeah, I'm searching for stuff, but it's just like I just want to find something. I modded that joystick over there. I haven't used it yet, but that's something where it's like, okay, I'm gonna force myself to learn how to play on a joystick.
Yeah. Why not?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of watch videos.
Yeah. That's fine. Whatever.
Well, that's the thing, dude. I don't wear pants all day, but when I go out, I like to dress
Yeah.
well.
It's like two ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, there's no middle ground.
That's okay.
Although I mean, sometimes I'll just wear shorts and a t-shirt, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I love how watches look, and I feel good in them. I have like small wrists. It's always been a point of.
So what are you, like a 39 or 30 what is it, 36 millimeter? Because you like the big faces, though, which does not work with your small wrists.
Well, actually, I guess my wrists aren't super small because I measured them today. It's almost 7 inches.
Okay.
Which is, I don't know what the average is, but I don't think it's on this. I don't think that's small.
Yeah.
But they look small to me. I don't know. Because my forearms are really small. That might be what it is, actually. I have very small forearms. But, yeah, so, well, I do like the bigger faces.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, 40 plus millimeters.
Yeah.
Although I was watching a really interesting video where a consideration you should make is the lug to lug.
Yep.
So instead of just the face itself, which they measure the diameter of that, it's actually where the bracelet clasps to the lugs on each side, because that is going to be more representative of how it fits on your wrist. So there's a really great person I've been watching on his website where he sells watches. He has that measurement.
Yeah.
Because I don't think traditionally they put it on there. So there's the dude we were talking about.
Yeah.
Teddy.
Sure.
I forget his last name. Starts with a B. Anyways,
He's like this like young millennial looking guy,
Yeah.
but he's probably like
super
50.
knowledgeable.
Yeah.
No, he's not 50.
I'm just saying.
He's probably like 30 something.
Yeah, maybe he's one of the guys with a lot of money.
I don't think so. He's just started like on YouTube, I think, talking about watches, and it just blew up into this whole thing.
Oh, so now he probably gets like, hey, check out this watch. Review
He
it for
opened
us,
his
type of
own
thing.
store in Cleveland.
Yeah, nice, good for him.
We should go on a road trip there. That'd be awesome. Anyways, so I've been looking, and I want to create like a. I've just been watching so many videos, and I want to buy watches, obviously, but I'm trying to decide like what my first. I want to get 3. I want to have like a rotation of 3 that have like a good. Like a good
He has
variety.
videos, though, doesn't he?
He does,
Where it's
yeah.
just like,
I've been
hey,
watching those.
Here's your collection.
Like
Here's
I
your
want
starting collection.
want a beater,
Yeah.
which is like your wear it in any
They
situation.
literally
You don't
call
care
it
if it
like a keyboard is a beater board. So the one on
Yeah.
my desk right now is
Yeah.
my beater board.
Yeah, exactly. Same concept.
Yep.
Exactly. Well, I think that's really interesting. Like a lot of these hobbies, these mechanical-esque
Yeah.
pursuits are very similar.
Yep.
Even cars, right?
Yeah.
Like I think even guns, you talk about someone like Nate, it's mechanical. There's a lot of parts. I think there's a lot of overlap on
Just
those
a lot of
hobbies.
nuance. That's
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
But it's cool.
Yeah.
Like seeing how it works and how it operates and what makes certain aspects and qualities of pieces better than others. And
Yep. I mean, headphones are the
preference.
same thing. Like it's
Headphones,
like
sure.
Yeah.
yeah, headphones are a little more electronic, but
Well, there's still a component of like it's
absolutely.
your headphone, it's your amp, it's
Yep.
your
no, for sure.
yeah.
I was speaking more of like actual physical,
Sure.
but yeah. I mean, I guess there's a component of electronics and keyboards too, but
And watches, technically. You can.
not mechanical ones.
Yeah.
They're all. That's the beauty of it. It's like
Right.
no electronics. It's
Yeah.
all gears. It's really cool.
It's neat.
But anyways, so I want a beater, and I think I'm gonna go with the G-Shock,
Okay.
which are
I think they're ugly, but that's
I think they're. I think they're kind of cool in the right outfit, though. Like if
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
wearing my all Nike stuff, that's the watch I'm going to wear.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, don't take this. Like, I think it'll look great on you. It's just, I don't, aesthetically, it's not my
I think it's
cup of tea.
to me, it feels like an active, like I go to the gym,
Yeah.
I would wear that, or I'm in my, like I said, like a cutoff or something, like you'd wear that. Now the color, and I think you can be really expressive with the color on that one because the G-Shocks that I'm looking at, you know which ones I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
They have these like very vibrant colors that you can pick, right? Like there's this bright yellow and then you can go all black or all white or red. So like I'm trying to decide, because if I go like a very distinct color, like a red,
Yeah.
now all my outfits are like incumbent on that
You're
piece.
just going to wear red tracksuits the whole time.
I would wear black actually.
Yeah.
And then that would be the accent.
But I feel like if you're going to do that, you kind of have to go that route. Like it's too, like getting a black watch or a white, like it's too safe. Like you got to like make a statement.
I was
and
thinking
go for
about going the all white one.
it. Okay. I mean, that's
Because
still
I
better
could,
than.
I could wear all black and it would be a nice accent.
it'd be
But
a
then
nice
I could wear
accent to
whatever
anything.
color I want and it would still be a good, like it's
Yeah.
kind of a middle ground. Because
Sure.
I think all white is still not the safest as like a gray or black. Like it still pops,
Yeah.
but it's safe enough where you can still wear other stuff.
I'll give you that.
But I don't know. I'm not married to that. So that would be like my beater, quote unquote. It's like under $100, which is great. And then I would want like an everyday watch, and then I want like a dress watch. Those are the other two I think I would get.
Yeah.
So the dress watch, I was looking at a Seiko. They have this Cocktail Time series. They have these really cool dials that are like, some of them are darker. Like there's this dark blue one that's really cool.
Yeah. Do you get do you like the heart, seeing the heart in there? Like the little gears and stuff?
On the back,
No, like on the actual watch face.
oh, like a skeleton watch?
Kind of. Like it's just like some of them have just like a little cutout on the face somewhere.
Yeah.
And you just see kind of the gears going.
I'm not a huge fan of that. No,
See, I like them,
like the
but
clean
it's very
aesthetic.
specific on that.
Interesting. Yeah. So if you're able to see like the whole gear structure,
Yeah.
I think those are called like skeleton watches.
The entire gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just open.
Yeah.
Those are pretty wild to me. A tasteful cutoff might be interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't really looked at a lot of those though.
Yeah. Whenever I was like thinking about getting into it, and then I was like, I can't afford this. Those are the ones that I was drawn to, but it was such a hit or miss on like what I actually thought looked good. And it's hard to like, just from a design sense, it's hard because like for me, it's like the number one thing with this is I want to tell the time. And if I have to like pause every time I like look at the watch, and maybe with time you just get used to it, but like
I don't care about
that's
time.
Well, see, for me that's a prime thing.
Yeah.
So when we were talking about like the movement watches that we both have,
Very clear.
it's like okay, like very easy to tell time, very
Yeah.
quick. Like that's
Yeah.
what I like.
Well, I want to show you after we're done today, kind
Yeah.
of what I'm looking at and
All
get
right.
your perspective on it. But yeah, that's kind of the three I want. Something I can wear every day. Something that's like I
And
don't care if it gets
Seiko
damaged.
was your everyday, or that was your dress?
Seiko would be. I think it would be more dressy.
Okay.
Either the Seiko or a Mido, which would be more expensive. Those are like 1,000. The ones I'm looking at there, but and then the everyday is tough. I was actually looking at like these Hamilton field watches, which are really cool. I got a very like Nathan Drake aesthetic from it, where it's like a military strap and it's a field watch, right? So you have like cardinal directions. You have a lot of those. It's like outdoorsy. So there's really cool watches from Hamilton that I like. But there's this other one. I think it's called like the Orient Bambino.
Yep. I know what you're talking about.
Very nice looking, very minimalist too. It reminds me of the Movement watch, but
Those are what, 500?
like 250.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Very
the one
reasonable.
that I was looking at.
Yeah. So that might be a good. So I guess what I wanted to ask you is like when you think of a dress watch, do you prefer the leather strap or do you like the metal bracelet?
I would want leather.
You
I
like
don't
leather
like
for the
the
dress?
metal one, and that's just because like my dad always wore the metal band ones.
Yeah.
I personally hate how it pinches the hairs on your arm and stuff like that.
Oh, so you just wouldn't do metal at all?
For a band, no.
Interesting.
No.
Okay. Because like I'm trying to decide. It just seems like in my research, and it's all subjective, obviously.
Sure.
But in my research, it seems like a lot of people like the leather band for the dressier stuff. Whereas my brain was kind of opposite. I thought that the metal was more classy and dressy.
The
but
leather focuses on the watch face, where it's like that's where the metal is just on like along the face. You get like a silver, not a face, but what's the
dial
like enclosure, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be like you get like a silver or a gold, or like you get that kind of fancy. But then the leather is just matches whatever suit you're wearing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Tough. I don't know. So I was like thinking about. I guess the metal bracelet is more sporty, traditionally, because a lot of dive watches have like metal.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like this.
Yeah.
Like this type.
Yeah, I don't particularly. Again, nothing like that looks nice. Like it doesn't. It's not like that's gaudy or anything.
No. Yeah,
I just don't
feel.
care for it. I mean, although like hold that up again. Like I think that still is better. Like the way you have that linked, because whenever I think of them, it's not a clasp so much.
Well, I need to tighten this.
You definitely need to tighten that.
Yeah, but the problem with the metal ones too is you have to have a toolkit to remove them, or you have to go to the jeweler, which I still need to do.
And you're kind of limited to the link of like, okay, like this, it might not be a perfect fit per se.
So that's annoying. But I do like how they look. They look very adult to me.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. I'm conflicted.
And then the dress watches are going to be a smaller watch face. Like it's going to be
usually
smaller. Yeah.
Yeah. The ones I was looking at are like 40. So 40 millimeters.
Oh, see, that's still even big for dress watches.
Yeah. But I tend to like the bigger dial.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you do you. Like, doesn't matter.
I don't know. I'm hoping I really love to like try them on. The problem is like I'm looking at all of these online and
I'm sure you can go to.
Yeah, I'm gonna explore.
Does like Jared or Kay's do watches?
Yeah, I was gonna go to the mall once I get this adjusted and see what they have and see if I can try some things on and get a feel.
Yeah.
But anyways, I like how that looks. But then I go down this rabbit hole of like, I'm getting into watches, and I'm like,
a mouse a cookie. Yeah.
Okay, well, if I'm gonna do my watches, I should update my wardrobe to match the watches. Like what outfits I'm gonna wear with these, and now it's a whole thing. Like I'm watching YouTubers on how to dress.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Aside from the expense.
My wallet's going to hurt. But
that's part of it. You got to get a better wallet.
Yeah, but dude, too many of my hobbies are too expensive. Gaming,
cars. That's every hobby.
Watches.
Yeah. Gaming's super cheap compared to all that stuff.
My computer alone is going to trounce my watch collection.
Yeah, but your computer alone is, I mean, that gives you how many hours of entertainment. Your watch collection, you're not getting that entertainment out of it.
Absolutely, I am.
No, you're not.
Absolutely.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
No.
If I wear them out.
If you wear them out.
Yeah.
Sure. I would say every time somebody comments on your watch, you get that little hit of dopamine.
No, that's not the metric, because there's gonna be subconscious.
I think the more you do it, the diminishing returns.
Yeah, well, that's everything.
You'd have to buy. Yeah, but you would have to buy another watch.
Yeah,
and a watch costs way more than a game.
Yeah, I could get a watch that's equal to my computer, if not more, if I really wanted to.
Oh, for sure, but nobody's going to know.
Exactly. It doesn't matter.
Spend $15,000 on that.
No, the watch.
I would have no clue.
The watch is all about how it makes me feel.
Sure,
I want to feel confident. That's why I'm not spending thousands of dollars. Like those 3 that I mentioned would cost me under $1,000.
Yeah.
Unless I go with the Mito. That's like $900, but that's a lot. But it looks nice. I want to show you them after this.
Yeah, I want to see them.
I value your opinion, anything design-wise.
Yeah, but that's such a different ball game, man.
It is a different ball game, and you do ruin a lot of apps for me.
Yeah,
I do that.
I'm sorry.
But it's good, because I need to know these things. I need to know that McDonald's has a little gap when I scroll all the way down.
Think about how I feel, though, whenever I'm trying to design my user interface. It's hard. It's hard to do. Like it's like, and it sucks even more now because every time I tweak something, I gotta pull out the little SD card, plug it in the computer, try it, put it back in the machine, try it again. It's like ugh. Yeah.
It's tedious.
So I gotta be less critical of people.
So you were talking about making game.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this today, actually, where the best kind of games, or anything really, comes from a place of like how many times have you heard this? Like someone creates something and they say, well, this is what I wanted and it didn't exist, so I created it, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the same philosophy with games that we have to have.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you want to see out of your dream game? And then you just make that, or as close to that as you can, given the resources that you have or the skills that you have, right?
That's the
limiting
rub.
factor.
Yeah.
But that's what gives you your inspiration.
Yep. So that's the thing is a lot of, and that was actually in the book where people would get hung up on the pursuit of either being an entrepreneur and like the challenge of that, or learning how to code something and the challenge of that, or designing like a user interface and the challenge of that. But like once you solve that, are you passionate enough for the project itself to keep you going?
Yeah.
Right. So like that's a perfect example where it's like, okay, like do we have enough passion in a game to get it across the finish line, or are we just like, hey, we have a bunch of ideas we just want to get on paper and that would be cool, and then it's like, okay, but none of them connect, so do we just kind of fizzle out? So I think that's going to be something where it's like take stock and kind of figure out like, okay, all these ideas, is there like there's definitely something there, but do they belong together? Do they belong in something more cohesive? That sort of thing.
Well, bare minimum, I enjoy talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So worst case scenario, we just talk about it, we write things down,
time,
and we have fun time.
And then I check that off in my get closer with friends category, and it still is in the right direction.
Got that subcategory.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
But what would you want to see in a? Because I think what we would want to see in a game would be very different.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of it, right? So I think you hit the nail on the head is from the tools available, right? So like RPG Maker obviously is something that I invested in and have all of that.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of if this, then this statements and learning how to code and stuff like that. So I get stuff out of that RPG. But the problem is how much do you have to sacrifice just from knowledge? Like, do we put developing something on a hiatus enough for me to learn, I don't know, scripting of something, right? Or is it like, do you try to bring someone else in to help with that part so we can focus on the stuff that we do like? For me, are you talking like my favorite, like what genre I would look for, or what I would?
Yeah, if you could make any game you wanted, what would it be? What genre?
Yeah.
What?
So how
would it play?
There was a cool idea with like, I mean, I like roguelites a lot. Like that's just like the way like Dwayne was talking about this Pokemon roguelite.
You're officially old.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
I'm too cool to say Pokemon or Pokemon. I have to pretend I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Pokemon roguelite, and it's like, okay, like I don't really like battling Pokemon is like fine, like it's okay. Like I honestly, it's probably my least favorite. Like I don't know why. Like it's the collecting of them that's my favorite part of the game.
Shocker.
Yeah, right. But the way you described it, where it's just like, okay, it's a roguelite and this is what you get, and you can kind of get this progression, you move on. Like I would love to have some sort of like traditional like RPG, but have it as a roguelite and try to capture some of that like Hades mentality of like, okay, like Hades, the story progresses as you die, right? And I think that would be kind of cool. And I know like some RPGs do it, and like people have played with it and different things like that, but like I thought that would be kind of a cool twist that could actually be done. But I think that a lot of it is which we've talked about plenty of times, where it's like, can you have something so incredibly dense that every single little thing is something?
Yeah.
Which would be an incredibly tedious project, but I think that even alone is like unique enough that you don't see that a lot, I guess, in games, because like and take it even from like a D&D aspect, where D&D you have to be pretty heavy-handed on some things. You can't be too nuanced, or people like miss it, or people do. So to have a game that is, you have your main storyline, but if you have so much nuanced stuff, and then that alone, that in itself is a game, right? Of like people, oh, I did this with this thing, and did you try something like this? Oh, that's super cool. Like being able to craft something that's so intricate like that, I think would be where my mind goes.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah,
that does sound like a Tyler game.
Yeah, I don't know, like
the definition of a Tyler game.
I get super annoyed at like, okay, keep talking to this person until they start repeating lines, and then you can move on to the next person and stuff like that. And it's like, how, like, how do you fix that? Like, what do you do? Like, you can't have infinite lines.
Yeah,
You're not talking to someone.
I mean, there's definitely games that address that, right? Like,
Sure.
You've been talking to me for 20 minutes, or whatever, right?
Yeah, but like, imagine something where it's like every NPC has enough where like you could spend 30 minutes talking to them,
Yeah.
if you wanted
Right.
to. Like try to make it a little bit more unique, and like if you go and you talk to this person that long, like what do you get out
rewarded,
of it? Like,
yeah.
like that's the thing is like everything needs to feel rewarding. Everything needs to feel meaningful. And if it didn't, it would be like, okay, that's just gone. Like filler is gone.
I will say this though, like what you have to be careful is for that philosophy, you can't lead people down a trail that leads to nowhere.
Sure.
So you would need to cut them off, very
or loop
quickly.
them into somewhere else. Yeah.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
That's the exciting and terrifying bit of it, where it would just be like just this web of everything is everything. And that's why when we talk, it's like, okay, like we would just, it's one village. Like you just talk, like you just start in one little area and see what happens. Like what can you do?
Right.
And it would be very mediocre and very.
What would the roguelike aspect of that be though?
I don't know. I you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like you were asking me what game I would like to make. That would be it. But I think that would have to evolve. We would have to figure that out.
Sure.
Like there was one game I think called Minute, where you literally had a minute to do something and then you died and you restarted.
Yeah, and then you
then you just keep doing
That's
it
cool.
over and over again.
Yeah.
I don't think it needs to be something like that per se, but it could be something akin to, okay, like you can do everything you can do, but then like in to some extent, like even like Stardew Valley does it, where it's like you have to go to bed and then it resets everything and you kind of move on to the next phase. You keep doing it, but like think like Fire Emblem, where you can only do so many actions in a given day, and you have to make decisions on like what you want to do. I hate that aspect. of it.
You don't like that.
I don't. So like there would be like that would be a problem solving thing, but
Okay.
I don't know. I think the ideas and the characters and the story and everything just have to be there. And if it turns into like a traditional RPG, like there's so much stuff that we've done in our D&D game alone that we could make into an RPG that would be cool. You know,
Sure.
not even just like this current one, but like just of all the situations that we've had and stuff like that, to craft it and then like tweak things and make characters and stuff. You could do some really cool things with it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, for me, it's more of a knowledge thing right now. Like it's really just like learning systems and learning how things work and poking around with that I'm currently interested in.
Well, that's a good place to be.
Yeah.
I mean, the first step is just do what you can, which is
Yeah.
chart down our ideas. That's something we're capable of.
Right.
So, yeah.
I mean, I got a blackboard, man. I'm just lonely, just sitting up there, begging for ideas to get put on there.
I'm ready, dude. Whenever
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah.
I text you them sometimes.
I know.
Yeah.
I got to go back and
Yeah.
I've been
compile those.
slacking it. Yeah. Compiling. It's kind of unfair because whenever I have an idea, like it goes into my note.
Yeah.
And when you text me, I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But then I don't like copy and transpose and all that stuff.
We're probably losing all this.
Well, we have a history of it.
Yeah, but you'd have to go back far.
Yeah, it'd be a lot.
It's not going to happen.
It'd be like, hey man, tech is so cool for 25 messages. And then like,
oh well.
Yeah.
Oh well.
yeah.
All right. What else you have?
Not too much. Just some random thing of like, who plays the Nolan? No, not Nolan. Who plays the rookie? Nathan Fillion.
Fillion, yeah.
He's cool. I like
Cool
him.
guy.
Yeah.
You've been watching the rookie, the
Been
cop
watching
show?
the rookie. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not what I thought it was going to be, and it's pretty good.
I keep seeing YouTube shorts, and they're really trying to get me to watch it. I
Yeah.
refuse, though.
That's because we keep talking about it. But he's
No,
good.
before I swear it was before we started talking about it.
Yeah.
I swear it was before we started talking about it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I started watching it because I'm like,
Yeah,
feel it.
there's something. Eventually, someday, I'll figure out behind the scenes what's going on. But like, there's money's moving hands.
He is Nathan. Like you mentioned Nathan Drake earlier.
He
is
is
Nathan Drake.
Yeah,
he is
100%.
100% Nathan Drake.
He's a little on the older side now, but
Nathan Drake's old. He is so perfect. Like
he'd have to.
He could be old Nathan Drake. Like he could.
I think he'd have to get into better shape right now. From what I saw on the rookie.
where he's at right now in the Rookie, and I'm only on like season 2. But from season 1 to season 2, he got in like ridiculous. Like season 1,
he's really good shape.
He was not in that good shape. But the story was like he had just kind of made it onto the force, and he's like training and doing stuff.
Okay.
So then on season 2, he's out of being a rookie per se.
Yeah.
But he's like trimmed down. He's like lifting bags of sand. He's doing all kinds.
It's tough for me to tell too, because like with the uniform and stuff,
Yeah.
it's not easy for me to tell. So
I don't know. I think right now he looks like
what a horrible. I mean, that's your, oh man, horrible casting for Nathan Drake.
yeah. Yep.
Like, it's just so dumb.
They like if I'm sure people have seen it, but if you have not seen Nathan Fillion in the Uncharted fan movie,
Yeah.
watch that, and it's better than Uncharted the movie.
Yeah. Who did it? I can't remember.
I don't even know. It's
Spider-Man did it, but
Tom Holland. In
Holland,
the Uncharted, yeah.
Everyone loves him. I mean, I like Tom Holland, but
Yeah, he's fine. But like, it did the
he
stupid
is
thing.
so not Nathan Drake. It is fucking crazy.
He did the thing where he like flew out of the plane. It was the scene from the game, and he landed and he washes up on a beach, and then like he's walking by, and Nolan North is sunbathing, and it's just like he's like, oh, I did that once, and it's like, okay, man, like
This is too on the nose.
yeah,
Yeah. I watched Deadpool Wolverine yesterday,
Yeah, how's
which was
that?
great.
great, better.
It was good. It was
rank
good.
it as far as like Deadpool 1, 2, 3. Where does this land?
I don't know. It's like an 8.5. It's like an 8.3.
But on 1, 2, 3, like
I don't know.
You don't
it's
know?
like
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it goes. This might be the worst out of the 3.
Okay.
This might be the worst out of the 3. I really like Deadpool 1 and 2.
Yep.
So it's still a very solid movie, though. Very funny, very clever how they did it. I just don't even want to talk about anything because there's a lot you can get spoiled on.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can get spoiled on.
Yeah.
So I definitely recommend don't watch the trailers and just watch it as soon as you can because you'll get spoiled on something. There were some like, holy crap, I can't believe this moments, which is very cool. And it was, that's all I'll say.
People are getting, because it's San Diego Comic-Con is happening or happened or whatever, and people are getting kind of like, hey, Marvel, what are you doing? You know, like there's just a lot of projects that they announced that have just been in the wind. Like, no
they're just releasing flop after flop.
Yeah, like so.
Like eventually that hits your pocketbook.
Well, so people are like starting, and I don't know if this is the best way of doing it because DC doesn't have a great track record, but I mean, James Gunn is like going hard on Superman. A lot of pictures floating around of like, hey, looks like Superman. Like you guys underwear on the outside of his pants and stuff.
I really liked
Henry Cavill
as Superman. He was a great Superman.
So did I, but it's like it's that darker tone, and this one is.
I don't
like
think that was his fault though.
It's not. But again, and like he likes, and
he just gets so unlucky as in
yeah.
Like he's cast in these perfect situations, like The Witcher and Superman. He does such a phenomenal job, and it's everyone around him drops the ball.
Yep.
Every time because he has such respect for the properties, and he's a great actor, and he fits the bill super well. And I mean, The Witcher had a couple good seasons, right? But still, it's like I don't know, dude. It's really frustrating when you have someone like that come around and it's so close.
I'll tell you what, Liam Hemsworth looks fine. Like I know people were giving him such crap, but like a lot of the time, people like I think.
So you were fine with it?
Well, I gotta see him act and see what he like. Are you gonna try to do the?
Did it not come out?
Did
it come?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
They,
I haven't watched
released
any of
a
it,
thing where you see The Witcher walking and it looks like Henry Cavill, and he turns and it's Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah, and they just it's a. They don't explain that.
No,
or,
I mean, you can't. How can they?
I don't know. Just, different universe, multiverse.
Maybe. Yeah. You know what? I don't know if they. Maybe they do. Maybe they do.
I mean, that's canon in Witcher, right? Doesn't what's her face talk about? I've been to different planes of existence or something.
I don't know. Sure.
What's the girl with black hair?
Yennefer.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There's like
they have like
there's an
do,
Easter
like,
egg of her
and
in Cyberpunk. Because she has a line in Witcher 3 that's like, I've been to a land of metal or something.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then people are like, holy shit, is she like been to Night City or whatever?
Yeah, that's cool.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's just a CD Project Red.
Yeah, it's
Screwing
just
with
a small
people.
Easter egg.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything, but it's like it makes you think like, well, she's been to different
Yeah.
worlds.
Speaking of, as of so we're recording on the 26th.
Yeah,
Actor strike started
for video games.
for video games. So voice actors, mocap people.
So what do
Stuff
they
like that.
what do they want?
They want to be treated more fairly when it comes to AI and the robots taking our jobs, which is fair.
That's fair. That's a tough situation though,
Yeah,
because that's going to run rampant.
that's the thing is, it's tough to be like, okay, like I'll come into the studio, you'll have me jump over this box 100 times,
Yeah.
you'll pay me,
Yep.
you'll never ask me to jump on that box again because you have all the footage you need and AI will do
I
it.
see. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, how does that work? And while voice act, the way I understand it, and I have to still read up on it a little bit more because it's as of today, the way I understand it, voice actors are protected to some extent, where it's like, okay, they have to be like, you can't just steal someone's voice, right? And you can't, like you even see like Scarlett Johansson was getting stolen from,
right.
What was it? Was it Google? No, I don't know. Someone. And they had to go back on that.
Yep.
But you have the voice actors where it's like, okay, like you can't steal my voice. There's like, you have to pay me for it. You have to like, disclose if you're using AI in any way, that kind of thing.
Yep.
But then when it comes to mocap stuff, that's not in there. The way I understand it. So it's like, okay, like they're just as many mocap actors. I think there's like 2,500 people or something like that this affects. And there's a site where you can like type in the game to see if it's getting affected or not. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. Call of Duty not affected because there's just not, I guess, not too much, or they're already done with it.
Even with their new slide mechanic,
I guess. I don't know, but I typed
sliding
in
all
like,
over the place.
typed in Assassin's Creed and it's like game over, and it's in like big red, and it like tells you like because
It's going to get delayed.
I don't know, who knows, man. But I typed in that. I typed in what else was I didn't type in Star Wars. There was one other game that I was just curious on. Darn, I can't think of it. Oh, Diablo, and that was one that was like, okay, well, like
Really?
if you're an actor of
Wow.
yeah, so and that might be voice actors and stuff because
right.
they're striking. So yeah, we'll see. I think 2016 was the last time they were striking, and of course the companies were like, oh, we were so close to a deal. I can't believe you're doing this. Blah blah blah. And we nailed down 28 of our 35 issues or something. And it's like, yeah, well, apparently the ones that they didn't nail down are.
So they have a union and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. And there's a ton of people unionizing now, like where I think Activision, like the people on Call of Duty just unionized, or maybe not Call of Duty, maybe it was Blizzard for World of Warcraft. I forget. But somebody.
So when you go on strike, you don't get paid, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Ooh, that's brutal.
Yeah.
That's a tough situation. Well, I hope there's a
it's
resolution.
a thing of contrition. It's like, okay, who says uncle first?
Who breaks
like,
first?
It's like, okay, like your livelihood or the company who is, hey, we need to get this Call of Duty game out. Like Game Pass depends on it or something, like we'll see.
Yeah, right. That's a, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we live in a weird world. Like, I feel like we're turning the corner.
Dude, AI is just getting people are getting squirrely with it, man. Like, it's just like the way the companies are seeing it is, okay, we can do more with less. Like, we don't need people.
Yep.
And people are like, yeah, okay, well, you need us.
Well, society needs
we
people
really
to
don't
do
have-
stuff. Like, it's just a very weird situation we're in.
Yeah, but if you can feed, I mean, how many games has Nolan North been in? And
A lot.
I'm not saying he doesn't have range, but a lot of the time you can, okay, that's Nolan North. Like, you can tell, right? Like, it's just like, so like, take all of his games, feed it into a computer. You probably don't need him anymore, right?
Well,
So
I don't
it's
think
just
we're
like-
close enough yet, but yeah.
It's pretty close, man. When you can have freaking Frank Sinatra singing Baby Got Back, like there's a world where like it's good. It might not be
Well, you
as
have to
good as
do
it could
some
be,
post
but-
editing though. I mean, it doesn't come out
Sure,
perfect.
but I bet you it's still cheaper. Or
Oh,
I bet
yeah,
you it's
yeah,
still
yeah.
faster.
Yeah,
or I
you're
bet
right,
you,
you're
hey,
right.
we want to redo these lines rather
You're
than
right.
like paying their last minute
Yep.
fee or whatever.
I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, man. It's a tough situation to be in. It's unprecedented.
There's rumors that Call of Duty released their first AI generated thing in the there's like a Shinobi pack. I don't know. some of their one of their packs, and they said one of the assets was AI generated, but nobody knows what it is. It could be something like the skin itself, which is crazy, scary. Or it could just be like a name card, and they just be like, oh, hey, generate this based off of these artworks that we've done.
Right.
So it's just it's creeping in. People will find a way to get it out and doing it and things like that. But
I remember when Riot was advertising for one of their events a couple of years ago, and they were clearly using AI because like there were people, it was like animated people cheering or something. Like they didn't have arms and stuff. And it's like, bruh.
Yep.
Yeah. They try to slip it in and then they say, oh, whoops. It's like, if nobody caught that, you wouldn't have lost any sleep.
But on the flip side, it's pretty awesome if I'm trying to learn how to code something and I can just go to the AI and be like, hey, AI, make this work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. It's where's the middle ground? What's the middle ground?
So in the art world, if I create a poster, right, and I'm like, okay, I'll make you the poster. It's $500. You can use this poster for the thing that we agree to.
Right.
But I still own the artwork. I still own the poster. You don't get to do that.
Yeah.
But if you want to pay $15,000, okay, here, this is yours. You have all the rights to everything. It covers the fonts, the photography. You can mass produce it and sell it at will. It's kind of the same thing here, where it's like, okay, cool. Like, if you want to buy Nolan North's voice, like, just okay,
big price tag.
You better pay him the X amount of money that like based off how many games. Yeah, so
that sucks for him though. It's like, what is he going to do now?
Well, whatever he wants. If he gets, but that's
but I
thing.
feel like he likes doing that. He likes voice acting. Obviously, I would imagine.
I don't see it because like I think that there's going to be protections around that kind of stuff. Like I don't think you can just like and I'll tell you what, if there aren't protections around it, the moment a lawmaker or a politician starts getting AI, which they're already doing now, where it's just like, oh, hey, look at Nancy Pelosi doing this, or look at Kamala do this.
Yep.
The moment that starts becoming rampant or starting to swing elections or something,
real quick,
that will get
down. Of course. I mean, that's probably more important.
Well,
if it's swinging elections, that was the last thing you said.
Okay, maybe not to that extent, but like,
yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like they're making a mockery of ex-politician, like it's a joke, and they're going to stop it real quick.
What I'm saying is, once it involves lawmakers,
yes, I know what you're saying.
Then they'll start caring. So
my point is simply like that can get scary though. Where it's
100%.
My opponent said this.
Yeah,
it's like, did he?
Yep.
Did she?
I think the one saving grace is it's very easy to sell. Like if you have an AI company, it's super easy to get companies on board. But the problem is companies are so control oriented that it sounds good on paper. Like, oh, we can do more with less. We can lay off a whole bunch of people, whatever.
Yep.
Save money. But they're not willing to give up that control, which you need to do with AI. So it just doesn't. It doesn't work.
Doesn't
like
jive.
They kind of hurt themselves, which is, I guess, a good thing overall.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Well,
that's it.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
Yep.
Watches, AI.
Yeah, the usual suspects.
Midlife crises.
If you made it this far, we appreciate that. Check us out, couchcompany.games and at Couchco Games on X.
I'm getting our top 100s put up.
Yeah.
So I'm done. Jeff's done. You're almost there.
Plugging away.
So I need to figure out a good format for that.
Yeah, those will be on the website. Yeah, so check it out, couchcompany.games.
Are you writing a blurb for your top 10? Is that a thing that you're going to do?
Is that what you want me to do?
That's what Jeff did, and I feel pressured into doing it as well.
Yeah, sure.
Do a couple sentences.
I'll do a
game.
blurb, and the website looks great. I implore people. Is that a word?
Sure.
I implore you to check it out.
Yeah. Don't let I wonder if I can turn that off. The little subscribe button.
Yeah, just say no to it.
Yeah.
Or say yes to it if you're a legend.
Oh, definitely say yes to it. But if you don't want to.
If you're not a legend, say no to it.
Yeah, it's not like it's not a gate. You just hit
you should.
I'll do it later.
Yeah, we got to figure that out because it pops up every time. It's annoying.
Unless you're logged in. Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm not.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Anyways, so yeah, couchcutting.games. And yeah, we're going to be here, same time, same place next week. Thanks for joining us on the couch. Peace.